All right, here we go. Get ready for TrumpCare, Medicare and Medicaid today, announcing the Trump administration's first proposed changes to Obamacare. The plan would cut the open enrollment window in half and lower the minimum standards for care that insurers would need to qualify for the exchanges. Now, it's probably just the beginning of what we're going to see, but Republican lawmakers who are struggling to replace Obamacare now have yet another landmine to dodge. On top of that, Humana, one of the nation's largest insurers, yesterday became the first major player to announce that they're going to stop selling on Obamacare exchanges next year, citing uncertainty about a replacement. Now, that puts the GOP in a bind because it makes replacement a lot more difficult. Let me welcome liberty-loving Congressman Justin Amash from the great state of Michigan. His recent town hall gained national attention as he was able to tame pro-Obamacare protesters. Welcome back, Congressman.
Hey, Kennedy. Thanks for having me on.
So before we dive into some of the nuts and bolts of Obamacare, I want to talk about your performance at your town hall, because a lot of your fellow Republican congresspeople have been told not to engage with protesters, to limit the size of their town halls, to have greater security. And you said, no way, I'm going to have a bigger hall next time. You answered some of those questions. What advice would you give to other people who do your job in your party when dealing with loud protesters?
I tell them to be open, to go back to their districts, to talk to constituents, to hear their concerns. There are a lot of people with reasonable concerns. We might not agree on all of the solutions, but it's important to have that conversation and take their criticism where someone wants to criticize you. And also there will be people there who want to thank you for what you're doing.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to be there, to hear all the different perspectives, and to try to represent your entire district.
Yeah, and you were praised for the way that you handled some of those issues. And, you know, a lot of the stuff you put on Facebook, you talked about Citizens United. You don't accept the kind of corporate money that people often take issue with in these campaigns. I want to talk about Obamacare, which has been one of the hot button issues there. Your speaker, Paul Ryan, went over to the Senate and talked to Senate Republicans about an Obamacare plan. And, you know, one of your fellow libertarian-leaning Republicans, Senator Rand Paul from Kentucky, walked out because of Medicaid expansion. So where do you fall between the two? Who do you stand with? Do you stand with Rand, or are you dying with Ryan?
Well, I like Rand Paul's plan better, but I think that we should return this health care system to the states, allow the states to decide what they're going to do, and create some sort of phase-in period to give the states the opportunity to get back up on their feet with their own type of health care system. But between the two plans, Rand Paul's plan and Paul Ryan's plan, which we haven't seen all the details of yet,
yeah.
I prefer Rand Paul's plan because it puts people back in charge, it gives people more options, and it tries to get the government out of the system in the way it's been. A lot of what we're seeing from Republican leadership and some of the Republican plans out there would be characterized by me as Obamacare Light, yeah, or Obamacare version 2. And I think that's not the way to go. If we don't like the way the healthcare system is working right now, we should offer a real alternative, not just try to tinker and change a few things.
I agree with you completely on that, because I think it really is protecting the status quo, and that's how we got to this hyper-partisan pickle that we're in to begin with. And I think we have to be very reticent about that. Now, you have been a member of the Freedom Caucus. Are you still a member of that caucus?
Yes.
And what are some of the members saying about their plans for repeal and replace of Obamacare?
Well, people are supportive of Rand Paul's plan. Governor Mark Sanford, who's a member of Congress now, has the companion bill. It's a little bit different from Rand's, but it's very similar. And the House Freedom Caucus has been supportive of that proposal. We think that repeal and replace should happen at roughly the same time. So we would have a repeal bill through reconciliation and then a replace bill. And of the plans that are out there right now, we think that Mark Sanford's plan, which is essentially Rand Paul's plan, is the best plan out there and the one that we could get behind.
Now, the president says it could take over a year to repeal and replace. Will that send the health insurance industry into the death spiral we've heard so much about?
Well, I think there's going to be a transition period. We want to make sure that things operate smoothly and that you give health insurance companies the time they need to adjust. But we should take action immediately. We should put our plan out there and pass a repeal bill. That repeal bill may have some transition period, but we should take action and show that we're serious, and that when we were against Obamacare out there on the campaign trail, we meant it. We weren't just about tinkering and reconfiguring it or finding new ways to finance it.
Yeah.
We thought the health care system was broken and it needs to change significantly.
It is, and it does. Congressman, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.